Hello everyone, welcome to KUSUM Net classes. In this video, we will be discussing about the first wave of feminism, its history, contribution in feminist movements, and associated thinkers, historians or writers and their important works. Before go ahead, if you are new here on YouTube channel then kindly subscribe this channel to get new updates like this video. The first wave of feminism, a movement that laid the groundwork for women's rights, began in the late 19th century and continued into the early 20th century. It was a time of profound social change, where women from various walks of life came together with a singular purpose, to achieve equality in the eyes of the law and society. The roots of the first wave of feminism can be traced back to the late 18th century, with the publication of Mary Wollstonecraft's seminal work, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman 1792. This book challenged the prevailing notion that women were inherently inferior to men and argued for women's education as a means to achieve equality. Wollstonecraft's ideas inspired many women to start questioning their roles in society. She laid the intellectual foundation for the feminist movement, advocating for women to be seen as rational beings deserving of the same rights as men. "I do not wish women to have power over men, but over themselves." Mary Wollstonecraft. Fast forward to 1848, and the first official call for women's rights was made at the Seneca Falls Convention in New York. Organized by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott, this gathering marked the beginning of the organized women's rights movement in the United States. At this convention, the Declaration of Sentiments was drafted, a document that echoed the language of the Declaration of Independence, stating that all men and women are created equal. It demanded equal rights in education, employment, and the right to vote, a radical idea at the time. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, along with Susan B. Anthony, became leading figures in the fight for women's suffrage. Together, they co-founded the National Woman Suffrage Association in 1869 and dedicated their lives to the cause of securing voting rights for women. Stanton and Anthony also published The Revolution, a newspaper that addressed women's rights issues, suffrage, and broader social reform topics. Their work not only mobilized women but also sparked national debates about gender equality. In England, philosopher John Stuart Mill became an unlikely ally of the feminist movement. His book The Subjection of Women, 1869, argued that the legal subordination of one sex to another was wrong and hindered human progress. Mill's work provided a powerful intellectual justification for the feminist movement in Europe. As the movement gained momentum, it spread across Europe and North America. Women organized protests, lobbied politicians, and even faced imprisonment for their beliefs. The suffragette movement in the UK, led by figures like Emmeline Pankhurst, became particularly militant, adopting tactics like hunger strikes and civil disobedience to demand the vote. Feminist literature played a crucial role in spreading the ideas of the movement. Sojourner Truth, an African-American abolitionist and women's rights activist, delivered her famous Ain't I a Woman? Speech in 1851, challenging both racial and gender inequality. Truth's speech highlighted the intersectionality of race and gender, emphasizing that the fight for women's rights must include women of all backgrounds. The first wave of feminism achieved one of its greatest victories in 1920 with the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which granted women the right to vote. This milestone was the culmination of decades of activism and sacrifice by countless women. While the right to vote was a significant achievement, the first wave of feminism also laid the groundwork for future movements, addressing issues like education, employment, and legal rights that would be taken up by later generations. The first wave of feminism was more than just a fight for the vote, it was a demand for equality and recognition of women as full participants in society. The courage and determination of these early feminists set the stage for the continued struggle for gender equality, a fight that continues to this day. Lastly, thank you so much for kindly and patiently listening this video. Bye bye, see you in the next video.